Hi guys. Welcome. Well, no, cut. Hi, I'm Sayward Eller, writer for women. Welcome to my channel. So, welcome to my channel, and thank you for watching this second video. I'm super excited. I have been watching everyone else's videos and I've been loving them still, so I am going to keep on trucking, and today we're going to talk about reviving your darlings. Okay, so first, full disclosure, I have actually mapped out most of this because I recorded on Friday and I was so scattered. Thankfully the video was really blurry, so I was like, okay, well, I'll just write down what I want to say and re-record. So here I am. Hopefully this one isn't as scattered as the one I recorded the other day. So today we're going to talk about reviving your darlings. So I know what kill your darlings means, right? Everybody knows what kill your darlings means. That is taking out all of those beautiful, flowery kind of the language that a lot of new writers, especially those of us who aspire to write literary fiction. So you're killing those darlings, the things that you think your story just can't live without, but honestly, it can. So for those who aren't familiar with the term kill your darlings, it is just cutting those beautiful, often useless words and phrases from your work. So when I'm speaking of darlings in this particular instance, when I speak of reviving your darlings, and I'm going to be looking down, so I have an outline, I'm going to follow it. But when I speak of darlings, I'm talking about those drawer novels, the ones that we put away because we figured they were dead or they just weren't working or we just needed some time away. In my case, I've had about 4 years away from this particular novel. I recently chose to revive this one, and it actually turns out I have a habit of doing this because my second novel that I completed was one that I started when I was writing my first novel. It's a historical, and I got about 20,000 words into that one and then I put it away. Only when I joined my first critique group, when I started, actually I created that first critique group, but when I started out with my first set of critique partners, I dug that historical fiction out of the drawer and I ended up writing, I think, about 65,000 words. I've just dropped my notebook. So I apparently have a habit of starting something, putting it away in the drawer, and then coming back to it sometime later, because I put that particular book away. Let's see, my first critique group was 2014, so I put that one away in 2011 maybe. So it was several years after that I dug that one out and I finished it. And it's not published because it's not ready. It was my first draft and I'm a fast drafter, so even though the critique group helps me to flesh it out a little bit, there's still some things that need to be worked on. And it's in a drawer right now, so don't ask me about it. I'll revive it in a couple of years. But for this particular work that I have revived recently, it is, well, I was trying not to be scattered, but this is just me. I'm just scattered. I'm not going to apologize for it anymore because this is just kind of who I am, and I can't keep going through my life apologizing for who I am. So I am scattered. Hello, my name is Sayward. I am a scatterbrain. So usually I don't have a why. I don't like to explore whys because I think that takes away from the time of actually doing something. So like when the question, what is your why for starting an AuthorTube channel? Well, I didn't really think a lot about my why. I knew why. I mean, this sounds really ridiculous. I know why I want to do it. I want to do it because it's something I want to explore. It's something I want to see if I can do. It's something I want to see if it will work out. And essentially, that's kind of my why for this novel as well, and every other novel I put into a drawer and then take out several years later. So what is my why for this particular revival? it was 5 years ago that I started this novel, and I got about 37,500 words in, and I decided that that's it. It's done. It's over. I can't do any more with it. I've ruined it. So I put it in a drawer. And a couple of years ago, I discovered Wattpad. I'm really slow at discovering things, okay? Just let me be. But I started writing a dystopian zombie story called The People Eaters on Wattpad. And it's been a really slow go with it. I've got 6 or 7 parts up, and I haven't really written anything new on it since March. And I really want to develop this Wattpad thing to see kind of where it can go and what I can do with it and to what extent it will help my author platform, even though what I'm doing with Wattpad is I'm publishing my my work that's outside of my regular genre. So usually what I write are women's fiction and upmarket stories, but what I'm putting on Wattpad are those experimental pieces like the zombie dystopian story and the now paranormal. My first novel was paranormal, but I have kind of gone away from that since then. And since I am building my platform as a women's fiction writer, Wattpad is my place where I can put those experimental pieces, and this new work, or this revived work, is actually one of those experimental pieces because it is a paranormal fiction. It's outside of the usual parameters of women's fiction. So that is why that's my why. And if you understood what my why was, give me your address and I'll send you a cookie. I think I also covered my why. Well, no, I didn't. My why now. Well, no, I think I did. Oh, gosh, there it is again. So I started writing the dystopian zombie. It's called The People Eaters, so that's what I will refer to it from now on. I started writing The People Eaters a couple of years ago on Wattpad, and I've just kind of stalled on that one for now. I think I just need to put it in a drawer for a while. So I thought, I don't want my Wattpad to kind of stall out, even though it hasn't even really started to move yet, but I want to continue to try to build my Wattpad. So I thought, well, why don't you pull out this lovely book that you have already written 37,000 words in and see if you can finish it. I mean, I'm halfway through it, and I really hate to leave things undone. So I think that's really why I keep pulling these things back out, because I don't like to leave things undone. It's annoying. So I think that if I create something and I write 37,000 words or 20,000 words, then it deserves to be finished. So that's why I say something's dead for 3 or 4 years and then I go back and I revive it. So this is my why now. I'm continuing my outside my genre writing on Wattpad, and I'm not sure if I'll incorporate it into my overall platform. I do have my Wattpad link on my website, so people can find these experimental works and they can familiarize themselves with the work that I do outside the women's fiction genre. But I don't know, this Wattpad's just really for fun. It's like where I can go, and I'm not trying to get those traditionally published, so I can go in and I can really let loose and not be outlandish and break all kinds of rules, because I'm just not very much of a rule breaker most of the time. But it's my place where I can just kind of be comfortable and not be so stressed out with writing, because we know what we're trying to get published is stressful. You write it, it's fantastic, you have this great feeling of accomplishment and just euphoria after you're finished. Then you go back through you go back through and revise, and you feel a little bit less euphoric. But then you start the really hard part, which is the synopsis and the query and the sending out, and all of those things are so stressful. And sometimes you just need a place where you can go and chill and still do what you love to do, still share what you love to do with other people, but you don't have that immense pressure that you do in your professional life. And this is just me speaking about how I'm using Wattpad, because I know there are plenty of Wattpad writers who are making money and they're putting out things that, you know, they feel the same way I do about traditional publishing. I'm not taking away from them at all, and I don't think that, this is my experience and this is what I use Wattpad for. Would I love to have tons of readers of those stories? Would I love for it to be something that I do and make money off of? Sure. I mean, that's why that's why some of us write. I don't want to say most of us, but that's why I write. Eventually, I would love mass love. It makes me think of that Jacqueline Suzanne movie that Bette Midler was in. She says, I just want mass love. Mass love. So that's what I want. And if that somehow happens on Wattpad, I'll be freaking thrilled. But for now, Wattpad is my happy, fun place that I can go and write zombie stories and stories with witches. What the biggest challenge, my third question to myself, what is the biggest challenge you can foresee? Finishing it. I mean, I want to finish it. I'm going through and I'm editing or I'm revising before I put them up on Wattpad so that they're not as terrible, because in 2014 and 15 I was big on passive voice. I loved it. It was like my favorite thing in the entire world, and I thought it was great and it looked beautiful. And now I'm going back through it and I realize that it just slows my story down a lot. So, and it doesn't work, and it's bad, and it's bad, bad, bad. So I'm going through, before I post it, I am trying to revise and take out that passive voice. I'm trying to take out some of those thought verbs and those feel words, and, you know, But that's the biggest problem, the biggest challenge I can foresee is finishing it, because I'm getting to the point where we're coming up to the major scene, and there's always that fear for me that I can't pull it off. So my biggest challenge definitely is going to be to finish this. I don't want to put it back in the drawer. But who knows what will happen. But I've put it up on Wattpad now, so there's that accountability. Even if there's only one person reading, that's one person that's reading, that's one person that's expecting another part. And I've already failed, you know, those 6 people who have the people eaters on their reading list, because I haven't put out a new part of that since March. So if people start putting Trite Demonstrations, which is this revived work, if they start putting that on their reading list, I want to make sure that I don't fail them like I have with the people eaters. So my biggest challenge is finishing it. And my last question to myself, I think, well, it's why is this time going to be different? And when I wrote the question down, I had an answer, but now I'm just not. I think that if it is different this time, it's because I'm in a different place as a writer. I think that you have a few different types of writers, but at the core, you've got serious writers, and you have people who want to be serious writers, but they're not there yet. They'll get there, but they're not there yet. And then, of course, there is another whole section of writers that they write just for themselves, and I totally admire that. I admire being able to write out an entire story and not caring if anybody else ever reads it, because I want everybody to read my stories. I want to write a story and publish it, and I want everyone to read it and say, oh my gosh, this is great. So I do admire that other class of writers that say, you know, I don't care if anybody ever reads this. I wrote it for me. But this time will be different, because instead of being that writer who wants to be serious about it, but I'm not there yet, I'm actually to that point where I am that serious writer. I am doing this as a career. I have the opportunity at this time to write full time. So I have to make this work so that I don't have to go back out into the normal workforce and get a normal job. So maybe that's why this time will be different, is I'm a little bit more determined. I'm a lot more determined because I've been fortunate enough that when I lost my job last year, my husband said, you know what? This is your opportunity. We don't have any kids at home. Well, we do have a kid at home, but he's grown up, so. But you don't have any kids at home. We can do this. We'll see how long we can do this, but make it work. So I am one of the very lucky ones, very fortunate writers who's married to someone who likes to be married to a writer. He understands how important it is, and he wants to see my dreams come true. So he is giving me this opportunity, and I am seizing that by doing all kinds of things. By doing AuthorTube and a podcast and Wattpad, and then I have another thing coming up that I'm meeting with someone about this afternoon, and also writing. So I don't know what's going to work out, but I do know that at the core of everything, I'm a writer. So even if this is my second and very last AuthorTube video, that's going to be okay, because I'm still going to be writing. I'm still going to be finishing this novel. I'm still going to be finishing the next 3 novels that I have up in here. And you know, even if everything else falls away, even if I have to go out and get a normal person job again, I'll still be the writer, the serious writer who is stressing out and writing the work and querying the people who reject me. I've gone off the rails. I'm supposed to be talking about reviving my darlings, which I think I have. I'm reviving, well, I have revived Trite Demonstrations. I have 7 chapters up right now. I'll be adding the 8th chapter this week. I have 13 chapters that are written. Now I just have to write chapter 14. Wish me luck. And I'm also reading the author's a little bit sexist in his writing. He seems a little sexist. I don't want to call him a sexist because that's not nice, but the wording within the particular sections that annoy me, very sexist. But overall, the book is very helpful right now. So I'll be sharing that with you as I work through that book and actually put some of his advice to use. I've already actually started, so I can't wait to share that with you. Hopefully I'll be able to do another video this week. I keep looking over here for some reason. I'm so sorry. But anyway, so that's me. I'm reviving my darlings, and I'm sure I'll just do this from now on. The only novel that I haven't stopped, put in a drawer, and gone back 2 years later is the manuscript that I finished earlier this year, Catching Fireflies, my women's fiction, my upmarket. So hopefully this whole trend of me starting something and putting it in a drawer and not finishing it is over, especially since I've progressed from, from wanting to be a serious writer to being a serious writer. Hopefully those days are behind me, but we'll see. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Thank you. If you want to see more, then hit the subscribe button, and I'll be super duper thrilled. If you think I ramble too much, tell me in the comments. But I'm just telling you, this is who I am. I ramble. It's me. And well, anyway, just talk to me. Leave me some comments. Tell me about, if you have the same problem that I have, that you write so much and then you put them away and you revive them later. So, talk to me. I'm happy to meet new people. Also, if I have, about 20 AuthorTube channels that I follow. I'd love to know more AuthorTubers. So if you are an AuthorTuber, drop your link below so that I can go and visit you and subscribe to you and really enjoy your writing journey. I don't know if I need to say my name again, but anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.